Hey y'all, what's going on? So I realized when I made my last video, I talked a little bit about why I stopped doing theater and why I ended up getting involved in esports and that sort of thing. But I realized I never actually said why I stopped or why I started theater. Um, I actually did make a video where I talked about that. It was actually my first hardcore world, and Um, I died in the video because I didn't press leave game, and I died to a zombie. So, you know, we digress. But I wanted to go ahead and sort of remake that video, um, but I didn't really have an idea of what I want to do for the hardcore world yet. So I decided that instead I would just make a video of this sort. I did go back through and watch all the videos. I may have like briefly mentioned something like this, but I never actually like discussed it. Also, I'm hoping I'm not redoing any of the parkour. It's fully possible, but if I am, well, it's okay. Um, so why did I start in theater? What sort of started that whole thing? Well, it's not too crazy. I mean, to be entirely honest. Um, Sort of the reason I did theater, or sort of what started, is I had like terrible anger issues when I was younger. Um, I mean, I parents made me go to like an anger therapist or anger management person, um, like the whole ordeal, um, and I mean, it was probably useful. I mean, I'm actually pretty chill now, but I didn't used to be. um, but the point is, I used to do that, and one of the things they recommended was sort of get involved in like what she said was like a role playing game. So like, you know, any sort of geek of a child would say, "Oh, well, let me go get involved in like Dungeons and Dragons," which I have many stories I could tell you all about Dungeons and Dragons because I'm a geek and I have no shame in saying that. But maybe that's another day. Today is sort of like what got me involved in theater, and so I was also just very like as a kid, I was very vocal. I guess is like a kind way of saying that. I talked a lot. I did a lot of things. I was very dramatic too. So, of course, what do you do with a kid that's dramatic? You get them involved in like musical theater and drama. And so that's what I did. And I got involved. My first production was in middle school. Um, and I did a show that many people should be familiar with called Mary Poppins. Um, and it was a good show. Um, it's how do I put this? Okay, hold it. I think I was in sixth grade. Yeah, that was sixth grade. I was in sixth grade, or maybe was I in fifth grade? No, I was sixth grade. It was sixth grade. So I was in sixth grade, and I mean, I was nothing special. It's not like I was like, Mr. Banks or anything like that. I was later down the line in my musical theater career, but I was not at that given point in time. And I I was just part of the ensemble, and I remember one I had a good time. I had two friends. They were twins, and they were like really really cool people and really chill people, and to this day they're still pretty good friends of mine. One of them is a Marine now, but a little bit of a change up in his lifestyle, and the other one's dating a dancer. So that one's kind of par for the course for him being involved in musical theater for so long. But they sort of convinced me to do it, and really good friends. Like I said, they were twins, and I remember there was a lot of things in that Mary Poppins show. It was still, I know how to spell supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. I know how to say it backwards too. Um, and that's the one like understanding of dance that I like have ever had. I am not a good dancer at all, and yet that is sort of the only thing that I remember because it was small hand movements is all it really was. So I still remember how to do it to this day, and I mean it was something, but I enjoyed it. And I'll tell you the quick little story. One of the very interesting things that happened was what's the kid's name in Mary Poppins? Oh shoot, what's his name? It's the boy. What's his name? I'm trying to blank on his name. But anyways, he got really sick, if I remember correctly, and so he could not continue on with the show, with the performance. And so my friends, the twins, they actually had to end up doing that, and they ended up doing the show, and they split the acts. So theater production is split up typically into two acts, and they split Act 1 and Act 2, and then played the kid. Because I mean they had like maybe 3 weeks to learn everything before the show was over or the show started for opening night. So I mean they were stressed, but they did it so well. And I remember working with them because I would have sleepovers with them, and I would hang out with them a lot. And so we would always talk about how like crazy it was that they were able to sort of do that sort of thing, and the respect that they were getting. I mean they were also in 6th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade. With me. So really, really impressive for them to be able to sort of pull it together like that and make it work. So, on top of that, there was one dance, the Let's Go Fly, no, not that one. Yeah, Let's Go Fly a Kite. That song is done in a park. And so in the ensemble, we were assigned, partners, dance partners, whatever it was, right? And I remember the person I was assigned with, her name was Maggie. And I mean, I don't mind saying her name. It's not like, I'm not going to say her last name or anything like that. But I remember I met her, and this girl was probably like, I don't know, I think she was like 7th grade at the time. And I was, or maybe she had to be 8th grade. Yeah, no, she was 8th grade. If I was in 5th, she was in 7th. If I was in 6th, she was in 8th. She was a lot older than me. And okay, this could just be me, but like when you're like younger, and like that one camp counselor that's like older, and you have like the biggest crush on them, like that's what I was with Maggie, but she was my dance partner. Okay, so I remember she was, like I said, she was my dance partner, and I had the biggest crush on her, and so I was like, oh wait, I love theater. This is like super fun, because she was a really good dancer, and so I was like, oh well, I wanna keep doing shows. I wanna keep getting paired up with her. I think it's the most I ever actually paid attention to like doing well in dance, because I wanted to impress this girl. Now let me tell you, I have no dance bone in my body, so that didn't really go well for me, but I remember I did that, and that was sort of the part of the reasons that I enjoyed getting like involved in Mary Poppins and involved in theater was because Maggie was there, and I was like, wait, this is like super cool, and she's super cute, and like the very young, right before teenage years boy, where I was just crush obsessed, right? And so it was super fun, and I remember I got like really, really nervous because then my director was like, all right, so you and Maggie are gonna hold hands, and do a little skippity doo dah down the down stage, and I remember I was super freaking nervous. I was like, oh, I'm gonna hold hands with her. Oh God, what am I gonna do? I was so sweaty. Now I already have naturally clammy hands. Like that's just me. And I remember I felt so bad. I remember saying to her, I'm really sorry. I have really clammy hands. Like this is gonna be like I feel really bad for you. She was like, no, it's okay. I have clammy hands too. And I was like, oh, let's go. But I mean, she was my dance partner for like all the scenes, all the dances we did, and that's kind of how that sort of went with me. Is like I wanted to like do well for my dance partner that like I just randomly met because I had a crush on her, and then like I said, my friends got the lead role in this show, and the year prior to that, it had to be 6th grade then, because the year prior to that was my 5th grade year, and I watched the show Oklahoma, which I never actually have done. It's one show that I wouldn't mind doing. I've never actually done Oklahoma, and my two friends, the twins, were in it, and I was like, oh, that's super cool. Maybe I should get involved. And obviously with the anger things, my parents wanted me to go do something outside of, yell at people and punch walls and whatever. So it got me involved. So that's kind of how my theater journey started with Mary Poppins, and then from there I got involved in more school productions, and I got involved in a theater group outside of my school, and did a lot of shows there, and you know, maybe I'll talk more about sort of my theater journeys. I know like people who are in theater, they know like what a showmance is. I definitely have one of those that I could talk about. Theater, I did theater for a long time, guys. I think 8 years, 9 years. So I could definitely have some fun talking about it. But that's gonna wrap it up for this one. Hopefully you enjoyed. Until next time, I will see y'all and have a good one.